So some of you know I read a lot of books, a lot of non-fiction, fiction, esoteric side of kind of things, and that's what a couple of my YouTube series have been about. Actually, both my YouTube series have been about books and conveying the knowledge that I've learned in them. But this one I've sort of been like hesitant to share because in like really crap, like in the wrong hands, I should say, it caused a lot of destruction and it'll consume you. And not in a good way, but in the proper hands, the way I see it is this knowledge will help you navigate life and hold on to your energy and make your life just generally a lot easier. And the book I'm talking about is The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And if any of you guys have ever heard anyone talk about the book, they say it's quite devious, and they're not wrong. There are certain chapters in the book that is just like, one for example is how to start a cult, like, and he had a cult following, and like that clearly, like, there's no way to spin that one about that not being devious, because it's just playing on people's weaknesses. However, I believe, just as the author does, that knowing these laws, while you don't have to use them in a devious way, you could use them to, one, benefit other people, and more importantly, benefit yourself in a way that gets you through life better, instead of being consumed by power. Or, at the very least, you just know what the laws are, so you don't have people using them against you. You could recognize it and be like, oh no, that's a power move, let me just boom boom circumvent it. Because the best way to beat an enemy, so to say, conquer an enemy, is to understand them. And that's the thing about these laws, is once you understand them, you don't necessarily have to use them in the way they were intended. You could offshoot, and that's the beauty of human ingenuity and creativity, is you can just understand the lesson, make sure these things aren't used against you, because at the end of the day, people are devious. Not entirely as a blanket statement, but like, people have the ability to be devious, and they will be deceptive. So it'll allow you to circumvent that, but then also you can hold on to more of your power. But without further ado, I will start, and I will do one law per video, and this is video number 1. And the first law is never outshine the master. So you could come at me all woke and talk about masters, which implies the other S word, and say stuff like that, but you're going to be completely missing the point. And if you're going to be triggered, honestly, you should probably not watch my channel to begin with. But TLDR on this one is essentially, don't stick your head up, in the sense that, like, the nail that sticks out gets hammered. That's what this is saying. Don't outshine the master, because the master is your better, whether it's CEO of a company, or just your boss, or your parents, or whatever it is. Don't outshine them. And if you do, you do it in a way where you don't have to worry about the retaliation. Because let's face it, say you just started a company, and this even goes for just coworkers that are on equal ground with you. You started a company, and these guys are all freaking jack-offs, and they just don't like to do work. You come through hot out of the gate, start going crazy, doing in 1 week what they would do in 1 month, people are going to notice, one. And that's both a good and a bad thing. Like, the people above you will notice, yeah, cool, and that might cause you to get upgraded or promoted. LOL. That just goes to show you how long it's been since I've been in a real job. But everyone else is going to notice too, and that's not a good thing. And it might work against you. You see, especially when you go into a situation like that, people that have power over you have power over a lot of people, and they have connections. So if they think that you're a threat to them, they just go to their buddy over here and say, hey, listen, Joe Schmo, he's been doing good, but either make up some gossip or be like, quite frankly, say to his friend, I don't want him at the top because of this, that, whatever. Alright, cool. So now you just pretty much, by outshining the master, attach the lead weight to your back, and now you can't climb the ladder. You can't gain the power, get to the place that you want to be, because now people see you as a threat, and they're afraid of you. At the end of the day, that's what it is. They're afraid of you, and now they're actively trying to hold you down. It's almost like when you see those crabs in a pot, and they just grab the crab. It's like, oh, that crab's winning. All right, cool, boom. And this is what I'm talking about, where you could use these laws, these rules, to preserve your own power and to just understand the world, because that is a basic thing that ultimately, I hate to say it, a lot of us learn that, and not in an easy way like how I'm telling you right now. They learn it by brutal experience, where they've done something so good that they've made enemies, and that's what you don't want to do, especially with people in power. Like, so if you want to read The Laws of Power, I'll leave a link in the description below to the audiobook. Audiobooks are God tier level way of learning things, because I mean, I drive a lot, so I just drive and I'll listen to things, and that's how I consume so much information. But they have examples, and they had one example of this dude who was under King Louis in France, if you don't know, and he tried to get in King Louis's favor, but everyone knew King Louis was he had a real fragile ego. So this guy wanted to be like commissioner of finance or some crazy thing, master of coin, if you will. He threw an extravagant party, and he thought he put it in King Louis's honor, which is all great and everything, but King Louis, having a fragile ego and all, saw it as a threat. He said, this guy throws better parties than I do. He's going to outshine me. Like, even if I am big man in charge, everyone's going to be paying attention to Phil. That's not his real name. You would have to read the book to see his real name. But everyone's going to pay attention to Phil instead of paying attention to me. So do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get rid of him. King Louis ended up hiring for the finance manager position the most bland person that people would literally yawn at his parties, and like he wouldn't throw any good parties and people just wouldn't go, kind of thing. I don't even know if he was the better man for the job. And one would hope that the best man gets hired for any job, but as you see and as we all know, that doesn't clearly happen at all, ever. Most people just aren't fair. It's all about power, baby. But anyways, that's the point. And I could ramble on about this, but I think I've touched this law enough. Once again, that was Law 1. Never outshine the master. Actually, I could put a little bit more in there and just saying that you can do your moves. You can make power moves, but you got to do it in the shadows. Be a little skulky. And it sounds weird. You got to be like a little snake, but you can show your worth in certain ways without flat out doing it, because what did they say? Galileo showed his worth in flat out ways, and he got a patron out of the Medicis because he made the telescope and saw Saturn and the 4 moons, and said to the Medicis, it's like, oh, because I guess their planet was Saturn or something like that. The 4 moons are going around Saturn, which is your family, and there's now the 4 heads of the Medicis, is that you guys are so great and you guys are so destined for power that God knows it, because, you know, he put 4 moons on Saturn. And he came out with his nose so brown that he got a patron for the rest of his life. He got everything paid for. And that's how you make the master. You got to buff up the master's ego. Even if they're pieces of shit. Like, I hate to say it like that, even if they're complete garbage, sometimes you got to do a little brown nosing. As long as you know in your head where the real power lies, and don't lie to yourself, obviously, but if they have more power, whatever, you have more power, certain situations, that's it. But never outshine the master. Never do it out front, especially to people who have power. I could give you many more examples, but sun's starting to go behind the clouds. It's getting a little chilly. These birds seem to be having great fun in the nice weather. And I'm about to get out of here. But my name is Brendan. This is The Lost Tribe. This channel exists for me to, spread knowledge and document my journey through life and my journey of discovery and knowledge, and hoping that you guys join me on said journey. But if you like this content, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the first law of power, if there's any way that you've used it in your life, or any any other thing about what you want me to cover next, subscribe, and I have to put that in there. Just subscribe if you like the content. That is. If you don't, I don't care, dude. Don't follow me. Don't do whatever. But yeah, I guess that's about it. I'm gonna go get some Chinese food, and I'm about to find out if Chinese restaurants are open on Easter Sunday. Hopefully they are, because I don't have any family up here in New York anymore, and I am not going to the restaurant I just worked at yesterday. Made great money, but I'm not going there. I don't want their food. I just had their food last night, and I've had their food for years, and I look at that menu and I just don't know what to get anymore. But anyways, long story short, my name is Brendan. This is the Lost Tribe. Happy Easter, y'all. Peace out. This isn't going to show on Easter anyways, but I'm just going to say it. 11:11 on the timer. Happy Easter, y'all. Peace out.